The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul, I see you. Finish on. Coach Curl.
Great job, guys.
Hey there, it's Tony here, and welcome to the Coach Curl podcast, episode 96. Now, over the last couple of podcasts, I've been sharing some of the experiences that I had with the New York Marathon. I've shared two interviews, one with Melissa Urey, the Ultraman triathlon athlete, and another interview last week with Daniel Owens from Tasmania, who raised an incredible amount of money for the Cancer Foundation in Tasmania. But there were so many people that I met doing extraordinary things that we just couldn't synchronize time. So some of the real characters that I met while I was over there in the US from Australia. So all these people that I'm going to talk about today are all Aussies that were in the US. And they were tackling the New York Marathon for a multitude of reasons. Everyone had their own reason to be doing it. But we met some amazing people, and not everyone didn't get a chance to get everyone that I wanted to get onto the podcast. Many wanted to. So I just thought I'd share some of the extraordinary people that I met over there, and hopefully that they'll bring some inspiration to you. As we head into 2019, it's a fantastic time to be looking at what we've achieved in 2018 and then looking ahead into 2019 as to what that can bring and what we can achieve and what we can set out to achieve. As you know, back in November 2017, Sharon and I set a target that we were going to run the New York Marathon, and we did. Now, we wouldn't have been able to do that if we sat on the couch and waited for that to happen. We just got out there and did it, and we had setbacks, and we had injuries, and we had obstacles, and we had everything go wrong at the wrong time, and we had every excuse in the world not to do it, but ultimately we did it, and we achieved it. So it just shows the power, the absolute power that we have within ourselves to shape that destiny. So destiny only comes with work. Destiny. So when people say it's our destiny, it only comes with intentional work, with intentional action, heading towards where it is that we want to be, where we want to be going. If you're sitting on the couch waiting for destiny, that's just lazy, wishful thinking. So, hey, look, I'm going to start my conversation today with two Aussie legends, Terry and John. These guys, everyone that I'm talking about today, they would have loved to have been on the podcast. But they're just Aussies. So I'm just going to use first names here. So I'm going to start with Terry and John. Now these guys are legends, man. They first met when they did the Great Wall of China Marathon. Now John himself has done over 60 marathons, and without sort of knowing his exact age, I reckon that's almost a marathon for every year he's been alive. So it's a really quiet, humble Aussie gentleman. And, it was just amazing to meet up with him, to listen to some of the stories that he shared. And I was absolutely stoked to see him complete the NYC marathon in such great shape. He's done most of his marathons in Australia. I think he's up to about 10 consecutive or 20 consecutives. I think it might be. I might have got that wrong. Gold Coast Marathon. So it just shows that when something's in your blood, you just continue to just do what you love. I look forward to catching up with John again pretty soon. Terry, just a brilliant bloke, great attitude. He's in his mid-50s. He's always been a runner. And the amazing thing about Terry is that a couple of years ago he was told by his doc that he's got to give up running because he's got some hip issues. And part of how Terry looks at it is he looks and treats every run as a bonus because he was told he can't do it. You know, he brilliant athlete, brilliant runner. He ran the marathon in 3:43, and that's a time that seriously I can only dream of at the moment. So Terry, he manages his training well, he manages his body well, he does a mixture of training. It's not just road runs, he does strength work, he does sprints, he does hill runs. But importantly, he also takes 4 months off every year, and that allows his body to rest. So that's a really good idea for those people looking to get back into fitness, for example. Listen to your body. You push it when you can, but make sure you're listening to your body. And in Terry's case, he knows that every run is a bonus, and every run potentially could be his last. So at the moment, he's learned how to manage his hips. So he's doing Chicago this year. So that's the race that Sharon and I have set ourselves up to do. So it'll be good to catch up with him. I've got no doubt we'll probably catch up and have a beer between then and now anyway. So, but awesome bloke. Now, Jodie's a running coach. I want to share the story of Jodie. We met her first time at the Gold Coast Marathon. She also went to NYC. Her time was just under 4 hours. But the amazing thing about Jodie is because she's a coach and a pace runner in a lot of cases, she brought a lot of people in from the travel group that we went with in under that 4 hour mark. So it was really amazing how a lot of the runners stuck with Jodie because she was pacing. She knew the pace. She was so tuned in to what it looks like, what a marathon looks like. And she got, a handful of people in under the 4 hours for the first time. So that's amazing. Being able to run and support and help others get their best times is just a really positive way to do it. But the other amazing thing about Jodie is that she went to Vegas after NYC because they had the Las Vegas half marathon. So a week after the marathon, she was running a half marathon. When when we first met her on the Gold Coast, she ran, I believe, the 10K event with one of her clients. She then paced the half marathon at 2:20. I think, if my memory serves me correctly, she was the 2:20 pace marker. And then she went out and ran the last 10 kilometres with one of her clients for the Gold Coast Marathon. So, running's in her blood, obviously, and it's part of what she does every day. So, fantastic role model for anyone and a really inspiring role model. So, she's just so heavily entwined in that Gold Coast running scene that it's just a legend. So, legend in my eyes. We met Ian and Ruth. Are another couple running the marathon together. But I'm going to say they ran the marathon together but separate. So, Ian talked to Sharon and I about the fact that unfortunately he can't run at the pace that Ruth runs. So there was that. Ian's a bit faster, really struggles to run at a slower pace. And you could actually see that on marathon day because his time was 2 hours faster than what Ruth's were. So there is a disparity there. So, but, and a unique experience. They've run the marathon. They didn't do it together. So, and to my mind, a bit conflicted with that because it's really magical having a training partner and a race day partner like Sharon and I have, that we basically just stay together. But every runner has a story and every runner has a reason. So it's a positive thing that they run together, incredibly positive that they share the love of running. They just doing it a little bit different. So a really wonderful couple. They love life, and it was a great pleasure to meet them. We met a whole range of runners. Julia, Margot, Alison, Nikki, all runners with a purpose. And I think Julia is still running. They did the Gold Coast 50 on the weekend, and now she's on some other trek. So running's in the blood. So one of the key things that stood out when you start to meet a lot of these people is the firm friendships that are formed based on this shared quest of running and getting fitter through running. You know, I know that Julia and Alison train together in their club. They seem almost inseparable, but once again, slightly different times throughout the marathon. But, you know, ultimately it's that shared camaraderie of doing these things. So, you know, we first met Alison actually at the Sunshine Coast Half Marathon. And we met her on course because on the back of my shirt that I was running with, I had the hashtag NYC Marathon. And so as she's come up to us, she sort of started talking and just asked us the question. So that was amazing to have met her there, and it was amazing to reconnect as we were heading into the marathon itself. And, you know, one of the things that really stands out to me on this journey is I get amazed the amount of people that are taking running up in the later stages or the latter stages or the more mature stages of their life. You know, and they're hitting milestones and bucket list items. And I guess there's that little bit inside me that says, why didn't I do this earlier? And so many times we stop ourselves from new experiences potentially because we're just not sure of what they're going to bring. So my advice is don't leave it too late. Just don't leave it too late. So if you really want to do something, get out there and dip your toes in the water and just test it out. See what it's like, because, you know, if I knew the sensation and the satisfaction that you get from completion of a marathon, for example, I would have started, 20 years earlier. Now, the other great thing about the running community is there are a number of apps where you can track your progress, track your times, and actually connect and have a bit of a social conversation with people. And the app that we've found to be really beneficial for us is an app called Strava. So once again, it's a great app to connect with people as well. And over the course of, whether it was on the plane going over there were people that we were connecting with that we're already connected with on the Strava app. So once again, it's just it's a community. So, and it's a good one to be a part of. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about Grizz. Grizz is another coach. He's from Sydney. He's got a really fine sense of detail around himself. His posts are very detailed, very defined. He talks about the science, I guess, of running. He talks a lot about cadence and steps and stride length and all this stuff that really, in many ways, goes over my head, but is beneficial because he's adding value to people and going into that depth of that level of detail is just it just adds value and knowledge back to people who may not have that knowledge. So he shares extensively. He shared how he's worked through some of the injuries that he's had. He does product reviews, which is always pretty cool. He takes his running pretty serious, but he knows his stuff. And, once again, it was a pleasure to meet him and his partner, Linda. We met him at the Gold Coast Marathon once again and reconnected at New York. Now, runners are good people. Everyone that I've met has a bit of a story to share. Some of the most motivational stories, however, are those who finish later. And if you've gone onto YouTube, for example, and just do a search for final finishes New York Marathon, there are some really inspiring videos of people that have completed the marathon for whatever reason. Some have had to complete it injured. There's other people that have not completed it the year before and came back and tried again. There's others that share stories about transformation in life. It's really inspiring. And, the final finishes program from the New York Marathon the New York Roadrunners is there's people there until the last person finishes. And in many respects, these final finishes do it tougher than the other runners because the crowds have gone. In some cases, the roads have reopened. So as they're coming through like that last 5-10K, when, you've hit the wall and you're really starting to question whether you're going to get there, the challenges that they face in respect of, the course is no longer there, the crowd's no longer a factor. They're running purely for themselves and for their pride. And in many ways, that's the hardest aspect. So I really take my hat off to some of the final finishes because, that's what it's all about. It's about that achievement of the goal, and it's about continuing on until you get there. And with that in mind, I just want to, and these guys weren't final finishers, but I just want to make mention of two legends within our travelling group. And one's up a guy called Steve, and Steve was running his first marathon. Once again, mature age of life. And due to a couple of toilet breaks that Sharon and I, had to do in the early part, I suppose in the first 10 miles of the marathon, we actually passed Stephen a couple of times. And every time we passed him, he's just got this huge smile on his face. He's just loving every moment of the marathon. He was fulfilling a dream. And with the rush of the crowds, once again, just an absolute legend. And, when Sharon and I talk about Stephen, it's just hard not to smile because every time we saw him on that marathon course, he just had this huge smile on his face. So huge smile, huge achievement. And it's just a really good memory to have. So, but finally, I've got to mention Bruce. Now, Bruce was the oldest guy in our group. He was 81-year-old. He did the marathon in 7:49. Not bad for an 81-year-old. But also, this guy's completed over 70 marathons. My God. Yep. He's 81-year-old. He's still running marathons, and he's done over 70 of them. All I can say is that marathon people might be considered a bit of a crazy bunch, but I can certainly understand why people get addicted. It's just such a satisfying experience to cross that line. I'm looking forward to being one of those crazy bunches as we continue to move down our path of running a couple of marathons. Maybe we'll do at least one this year. We'll do a couple of halves. But, I don't think I'm ever going to get up into the vicinity of 70. So I take my hat off to you, Bruce. 81-year-old, 7:49 for the marathon. And what was really legendary about him, he went straight from the finish line to the post-race celebration that Travelling Fit had put on. So that was pretty cool. So good on you, Bruce. Just awesome experience. So, the other people that I just want to mention are the runners that we actually met on the course. The boys from Adelaide, they tracked with us for a while. The Gold Coast girl who's now living in New York, she was pretty cool to talk with, tracked with us for about a mile or so. The all-female Aussie group from Melbourne. So all throughout the race, we had Aussies coming up to us. We had people from other nations coming up to us talking about Australia. So it was just a really enjoyable experience. So the crowds are awesome. The runners are awesome. So you can understand why the New York Marathon itself is, A, such a wanted race for people to go into, but B, why the other thing that's incredible is the incredible success rate that it has. So 99.4% of the starters finished. So that's incredible. Where else do you get that sort of a stat? Could you imagine everything you started, you succeeded 99.4% of the time? That's what it looks like. So next week I'm going to dissect that a little bit and find out the reasons why. So I'm going to share some of my thoughts and what I've seen and what I've experienced in relation to that. And there is going to be some real tips there for what you should be looking to do in 2019. So keep your eye out for that one. It should be out just about 2 days after this one, I reckon. So we should be right to do that. Now, just a big thank you to Think and Grow Business, strengthening leadership, mindset and business. We work with clients all around the world, so improving the performance of people in business. Check it out at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au. Don't forget the people that have purchased the book, Seriously Simple Stuff to Get You Unstuck. 20% of what they paid for that book has gone to help it support the people at Carter's Cause, who in turn raise money and awareness for the great work that Heart Kids Australia are doing. Check them out on Facebook. Just look up Carter's Cause Australia or go to carterscause.org.au. Don't forget also the Coach Curl Academy is now live. Now, we have just 2 weeks left. 2 weeks for the first stage of launch pricing, where the prices will rise for the Academy on the 1st of January. At the moment, over 60 programs sit within the Academy. By June, July next year, there will be over 100. So if you're looking to strengthen your mindset, strengthen and develop your leadership skills, or to grow and improve your business, the Coach Call Academy will soon, well, if it's not already, is the one-stop shop for you to get programs and courses that will help you do what it is that you want to do. So check it out at thecoachcallacademy.com. I'd love to see you there. Don't forget, prices rise on the 1st of January 2019. Now, until next time, remember next time I'm going to dissect that 99.4% success rate and hopefully give you some tips on how you can succeed more often in life. But until then, remember the golden rule. Just don't be an arsehole. I'll see you soon.